Hi, this episode has some technical difficulties. My laptop mic inadvertently got turned on when I was transitioning back from a browser scene. This caused an echo in my voice that neither Mike nor I could get out in post. Mike made a valiant effort. He cleaned up the sound amazingly, removing a bunch of background noise and some other echoes, but unfortunately, my echo was not able to be removed. We debated back and forth on how to handle this, contemplated me just doing a voiceover for my part, but in either way, it just does not come across as natural. And yes, it could be annoying to some, and for that, we apologize. I now know what I did, so this should not happen in the future. Enjoy this episode, and thank you.
Welcome back to Brothers in Boots. My name is Jeff, and Mike is off yet again this week. Remember to please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget that I am always interacting in the comments. And if you did have this for Sandeep, then I will try my best to relay those and get an answer for you if he doesn't choose to hang out in the YouTube comments. With me this evening is Chris of the W, filling in for Mike. And we are interviewing Sandeep from Blackbird Boots.
Hey guys.
And this week's bourbon is Four Roses Private Pick. I picked in 2011. It is an OESF. 10-year, 2-month, 125.8.
Nice.
So, Chris, would you like to introduce yourself and get us started?
Yep. So, well, you guys have seen me before, but I wanted to bring on Blackbird Boots because it's a company that I have actually personally bought boots from and have really liked them and have gotten to know Sandeep over the past year. And, just kind of wanted to show they're a newer company. I think you guys have seen that that's my passion. Smaller companies that are newer, that are doing, some exceptional things. And so let me show you the pair of boots that I got from them real quick. If you are on Reddit, they are out there. These are a pair of hatch green, what they're called luchadors. So these are Horween's burgundy. I think they call it Pioneer Reindeer, that have that kind of the brown midsole, have black eyelets and speed hooks, and just, are a really shiny, just beautiful boot. So without any further delay, we have Sandeep with us from Blackbird, and Sandeep is one of two brothers that are part of the founders of Blackbird Shoemaker. So Sandeep, why don't you tell us, how you got started, and we'll go from there.
All right. All right. Hey guys. So yeah, Blackbird. So, we say BLKBRD, but we call it Blackbird. It comes from the Blackbird Air Force fighter from US Air Force. I mean, that is where we got inspiration from. So that is how Blackbird name came. But yeah, coming back to the story, I'll be quick and short. In short, we both are computer engineers from our background. But my brother Pradeep, who is based out of India, and then he manages the manufacturing, design, all the innovation which goes into Blackbird. He's the man behind the brand. So what you see, it's coming from him. Boston just helping the Blackbird grow. He was a sneakerhead, from long time. And then after completing engineering, he got into a consulting job also, but then he decided to go and learn shoemaking from scratch. So he went to one of the local colleges in Agra, and Agra is the hub of shoemaking in India. So there's a government colleges who teach shoemaking. So there was a 6 months diploma. He went to do the 6 months diploma so he can create his portfolio and apply to international schools to get into the design schools in like outside to pursue his sneaker visions. But then I think something else was written, right? So he suddenly one day he decided to go to Agra, leaving all that job and everything, and then he has learned the skills from scratch, sitting with those folks and in college, and then doing things with his hand. And on the way, he met some of the older craftsmen in the industry who had skills, but I mean, they did not had much or maybe a better place to do, a better environment to do. So he did some sampling as like side project just to do something. And then one of the Italian merchandiser saw his shoe in one of the photo booths. I mean, you know, when we make anything, we send it to the photographer so that he does the photo shoot and send it back to us. So yeah, one of those photographers, he saw that shoe and he asked like which factory it is from. And he said, I don't know, but a guy sent me. He got contact from BiB and he reached out to BiB. And he was like, can you make? He said, no, we cannot make, but eventually they agreed to make the samples. So then we started making samples, and then he would take that sample and go to bigger factories and then get the volume, because we did not have anything at that time. And then when he showed that shoe to me, I was also happy that if an Italian merchandiser with like 70 plus years age, who is like pioneer in his own industry, he was based out of Agra and then managing all these like this thing for many bigger brands. I mean, like some premium brands. And if he likes your work, so there's something in it. So I told him, can you make a shoe for me also? I was going to India for a marriage. There was like more than 40 days. It was like, can you make a shoe for me? And then after 40 days, when I landed, shoe was like not even halfway through. And then 40 days, you cannot make one shoe. It's like, it takes time, and because like so many craftsmen involved, and we did not have anything. So he would basically partner with different folks, and he will go to like pattern maker, he'll get the pattern done, then he'll go to stitcher, he will stitch it, then he'll go to other person who will last it for him, then he'll take the shoe to other person who will do this. They say like it takes many people, and then he has to run around, so it's not that easy. Like, okay, so we went to local market. I mean, like Agra being the hub of shoemaking, I was like, I'll find a shoe. We visited 7-8 big brands, but then I did not found anything of that quality. And that evening it struck that, okay, you have a shoe in front of you, which you have made as like side project, which has been appreciated. And we went to market, we could not find anything. So India being a big production house, you know, these things are not new for India. India has been producing this, but they have been like white labeled and sold to, like, even in American, like half of the quality shoes are coming from India or the other Asian countries, right? Or to the England also. Even today, like, I don't want to quote, but many bigger brands, they get their uppers and everything else made from India. That goes to England, Northampton, and then they do the basically welting and bottom making, and then, you know, they are sold as like made in England, so India is, so this thing is not new for India, but I think nobody was bringing that to local market. So then we said, if we can produce it, why don't we create a brand made in India for India with the highest quality we could make for the price which is accessible for the majority of the middle class. Because again, this thing needs time, needs money. So we can only take the price down to certain level. And Chris, you mentioned the price is one thing. Price is the major factor even today, even after bringing the highest quality from international, like leathers from Horveen and all that, from Zonta and everything, like even using the Viberg and Dr. Soul, everything. We have been trying to keep the prices affordable because we still feel that India is our primary market, and we want to be there so that many people could afford it. You know, for here, maybe people spend 700 for Viberg, but $700 for India, it's still much bigger, right? So we want to be at certain price range so that we could maintain our margins and we could have most of the people try these things, right? Because otherwise these things were not available in the local India market. So that is how it started. Suddenly one day we decided, okay, let's start working on a brand. There was one shoe, and even for that one shoe, it was made on the Oceano last, which has gone through 20+ iteration, and he was working on that last for like 3-4 months before that shoe had come. So that shoe had come after like 5 or 6 months. He was already there. So then he said, okay, why don't we make some more styles, classic styles, and then let's launch a website and then start doing something. So we took like 6-7 more months, and then COVID hit. And after COVID hit, the industry changed, right? So we were into classic shoes, dress shoes, but then after that there was like no sale in India. Like everybody is home for 6 months. And by that time we had started a small operations. We had rented a small space and hired a couple of full times, and then a few were coming to us for contract. So there was like cost involved. But yeah, that COVID hit us hard. Those 6-7 months we had to, pay all that out of our pocket. But then after that, I think, because I was here, I started venturing into Facebook. I think Facebook was the first place. Like I found a couple of Facebook groups. I posted some things, people liked it. They left reviews, and that is where all it started. And I think dress shoes picked up internationally, so we started focusing more internationally. And then one guy came to us for boot for Stitch Down event. He wanted to make something custom, and that is where our Stitch Down. We had made boots before. Dixon has been our oldest boot. It was still there in our collection before Stitch Down, but I say like after Stitch Down, we have given more attention to the boots. So now you would see like when people hear Blackbird, maybe in US, they resonate with boot brand. But this is how we have evolved from dress shoe to boot. Yeah, that's the quick and long.
You mentioned India's history with boots. I know that with the Indonesians, they have a lot of Dutch influence.
Yeah.
In the past. Do you have like similar influence? You're not too far away geographically.
Yeah. Similar. I think I was talking to Dale. I mentioned that in Agra there's an old market like Hing Ki Mandi that is from like 1800s. So Hing is like, I don't know how to pronounce, asphodel or something like some.
Espadrille. That kind of like canvas.
So they like export and import, right? So it used to come and then in leather bags. So that those leather bags were like used to get wasted. So people started thinking, okay, what can we do with this? So they started making shoes, and one thing after that. So that people say that maybe it's a starting point of shoe industry in Agra. So it's like a long, and again, British were there. So those making, and then even before British, like Rajwadas, like, that India has a rich heritage history. So it's not that we learned shoemaking after British came. We had that legacy, like, these Jodhpuri boots, right? Jodhpuri boots are like oldest, and some of these juti, which are like loafers, like, so those jutis like have been in India for like ages, right? Our Traverse model is like based out of that. So, these things have been there, but yeah, I think they improve with access to, I think, more materials, and I would say that advances they had. Yeah.
So one of the things you mentioned in Dale's video, so you went from pretty small to now you've got over 40 employees. I think this was.
Yes. So this May we moved to a little bigger space also. So in that we have 40+ employees. More than half are full time, and some are contract workers. But yeah, most, like I would say like 30+ are like full time. And then I think I did mention that during the COVID, when there was no traffic for Blackbird, but other people were appreciating. So a couple of other folks came to us that, I like your shoe. Would you make them for us in the smaller volume? So we agreed for that because we had our workshop operational cost, and we were still doing the sampling and experiments and R&D for Blackbird collection. So we said, yeah, in the meantime, if we can make for somebody else and then, that covers our operational cost and help us running, why not? So we were making for some local like Indian branch. And we have become friends after that. So even today we make for a couple of them. We have cut down on many, but a couple of brands we are still making. Mostly on the Blake side, like hand welting, we do only for Blackbird. But yeah, Blake stuff, we do it for our partners also.
Okay. Well, it also sounds like a great way to be able to bring on inexperienced staff, get them trained.
So that is another challenge with the operations, right? You have to have enough work for workers and capacity, right? Hire a bigger place. You need to have that kind of work, and because like I said, 10 plus more people are involved in that, right? In end-to-end process. So if we are making let's say 4 pair, it's one of those days when we are making, let's say only 10 pairs on that day. But if I makes 20 pairs, then half of the capacity is unused.
Right.
With these partners, sometimes it helps shares the operational cost and scalability. Sometimes when we are not doing much, we add Blackbird, or when we have Blackbird in priority, we take less work or something like that. So it helps train out, right? So some of the folks, I'm saying on video, but I should not, but they get trained on that work. And once they matured, or we feel that they are at a stage, then they get onboarded to Blackbird team. So Blackbird has a separate dedicated team in the workshop. Only experienced one comes into that. So that basically helps us to pass through also.
Right. Well, you've got really, high-end brand names that are doing that too. I know Carmina, white labels for people, but then, they also have their Carmina line. So it's a very good business model. I mean, another question I had is how much have you been able to leverage or find people with really pretty deep shoemaking experience that you've been able to bring on the team versus what you've had to train internally?
I mean, it takes time. Like I said, it's a difference, right? So what we in India, there's a habit chalta hai. Chalta hai, it'll work.
Oh,
right? So it'll work. Let's send it. But in Blackbird, we don't. I mean, if there's anything, I think the first highest priority thing is quality, right? Craftsman. Even if there's a smaller thing we notice, it will not ship out. If there's any pattern we don't like, it will not go to production. If the pattern is cut but stitching is different or something, if you find it or something happens, that will not move forward. So that mindset change is important. So with that, I think people are also loving it that, this does not work. So they also, some of the people like working quality stuff. That is how our initial employees came. Our first employee, I recall that he was doing that stuff for 30, 40 years, but then he did not have work. Because production houses had the belt system, there you do only one thing at a time and then shoe moves through belt. So he used to make some shoes in his home for 1 or 2 clients, and that is how he was making his living. When we onboarded him full time, and then we started experimenting, and then all these seamless hole cuts, and they have evolved with all these experiments. Pradeep has literally sat down with those guys and let's do this, let's do that. Can you do like this? Can you do like this? Why don't we do this? This is how these things have evolved. Stitch down was never heard. Stitch down on these constructions were never heard in India, right? Or maybe somebody doing, but then we had to do all those experiments to mature. It takes time, hand welting and doing entire hands thing, takes time.
It sounds like a much more fun way to work for the employees to be able to use creativity and not have each thing be the same.
Yeah, they don't have pressure of production houses, right? Production houses, they have pressure, they are sitting on that they have to do, they are piece rate basis. So the more they do, the more they earn. So they have to turn out more things to earn more. Here, if they are in fixed salary, so they are also open to experiment because they know that nothing will be cut from their salary, or they will get what they are promised, right? So
very, very cool. You had another question, Jeff?
Well, I got a lot of them. I was just trying not to hog the time. What's when you say completely by hand? Like, how far does that go? Usually, that includes sewing machines. I assume you use sewing machines for the uppers.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the end and beginning of machines, or are there other machines that you employ throughout the process?
Sewing machine. I think the basic machines we have to use, otherwise it will be very difficult stitching through hands. So pattern cutting, like the pattern making, is manual. I mean, that is manual everywhere. But pattern cutting we also do with our hand. So one piece it's cut at a time by the pattern guy. Then stitching again through machine. But then lasting is done through hand. Welting is done through hand. Then sole making is done through hand, and then sole finish is also done through hand. I mean, there's a machine like buffer machine and other those things, like they go through the buffing and everything, and that thing. So some machines are involved, but yeah, most of the part, and like creativity lies in the hands. Who's doing it?
What are the leathers being tanned in the Indian tanneries, and what methods?
I mean, Indian leathers are, it's difficult to find veg tan. So that is why initially we had struggled because to find a good leather. So initially we were able to find some of the suppliers who were importing some leathers from some of these Europe countries like Russia, Ukraine, and Brussels. And so what they do, they basically, because they import in batches and then they sell in the domestic market. So the Tandy name is not tied to those, because they don't disclose the Tandy, because otherwise, because they are the middlemen, right? If they disclose the Tandy, then you would buy it directly from them if you can, right? So they basically buy in bulk, and it's good for us also, because we also cannot buy in bigger batches from international. So from them we get to choose, like if we are experimenting with something, we'll just get one hide for that type of leather. I mean, new leather keeps on coming, right? So we might just get one leather, experiments, and if it works, then we'll broaden it. So for now, I would say Indian leathers are not at par with what we are trying to achieve with our brand. And again, I would not say Indian leathers are bad. I mean, it's just the market, like what it's demand and supply, right? What earned from Tandy, that is what they produce, right? I mean, India, all these these cheaper brands like Calvin Klein, these they sell for $150, but then you would be surprised to know for how much they are made and what leather, or some of them are not even leather, right? So it just comes down to demand and supply. I mean, people are asking for that, so that is what they are making. But slowly things are changing. Like recently with one Tandy, we have been able to make very good quality leather comparable to Harvey and Chrome Excel. And again, I would not quote that, because Harvey and Chrome Excel, like Pioneer, it has time tested. So that is why we cannot say, because we have to test the time with that leather. But with all the initial testing, sampling, and what we have done, it's pretty good leather. So that is produced domestically, and we are coming up with some sneakers on that leather to test with. So those sneakers will drop in our website maybe very soon. So that is based on our Indian leather. And they are mixed tan.
Indian tanneries are mostly chrome tan now, and you're starting to foray into the veg tanning.
Mixed tan. Veg tanning is difficult. Mixed tan,
Which is what Chrome Excel is. Chrome.
What Chrome Excel does, What
veg
exactly. Yeah.
So your percentage of boots made out of Indian leather is fairly low.
Yeah. I mean, even our basic range is imported, but not from the known tanneries. And our premium segment, we import leather ourselves. So we import leathers from Harvey, Miriam for the boots, and from Zonta Tannery for our dress, and then some of the suedes from Opera, and then some of these Waxy Commander from CF Stead, and some of these nice tanneries. So that is where premium segment comes from.
Do the percentages change if we were talking about export versus selling to Indian customers in India?
I mean, indeed, yes. So Indian market is picking up now. I mean, this was another reason why we started focusing on international. I mean, I think here people appreciate the quality and construction more. And India, I mean, not majority, but many people are like brand focused, right? So they'll spend any amount of money, but for the brand, right? And India, bit of going to London, Europe, or now Dubai for shopping, right? So they go on a shopping vacation. They go to other countries, do the shopping, come back, right? So they would spend money, but for the brand. And I think even we being very new, we would have to do some good PR or good establishment before we could win their trust, right? So that is where I felt that, here we had people who were appreciating the construction quality and everything. So I was like, why don't we start focusing here? And then, once our people see that the quality is there, people are appreciating, and then they automatically get that trust. So now, from last year, Indian weight is going, percentage is going up. Now, more and more Indian people are coming to know, and I think with an international acceptance, I think there's a trust also comes, right? So initially, there's a thing that, because these shoes are like not cheap. These are like 20,000 INR, which are like maybe a monthly income for many lower middle class right? So these are expensive as per Indian standards. So nobody will spend that kind of money on an unknown brand, right? What will ship, and after shipping, if we take the product back or not, right? So that trust takes time. So now people know that even if something happens, we are there, right? We are not, we are there. So I think now
that's long been a very interesting dynamic to me. Not just boots, but the whole, I guess, apparel industry, where the idea of a name brand is, it's a name brand and it's better and it's high quality. And to an extent, sure, that's true. But then there's this other completely different category there where the name brand isn't necessarily good. The name brand is sometimes crap, and they're trading on a name, and getting that high price tag from a name.
Yeah.
So, I always try hard to look at the quality involved in things rather than a name. So if I buy a name, it's by accident. I mean, it's because I know the brand and I trust the brand for their quality.
Yeah. And so like mentioned, when Pradeep was in doing all that work, right? So he had started interning in one of the production houses also, because again, Pradeep being an engineer and working as consulting, he was like good with his physics, English, and everything, right? Polite. So one of the factory owners saw him somewhere, and he said, "Okay, will you work for us as a part time for something?" So he said, "Yeah." Anyways, he was not doing it. It's like, "Yeah, you work." So he was working in production house for their. So they were launching their own brand that time. So they were doing like a lot of these ad hoc sizes, like smaller batches. So that is when he got to learn different things, meet different people in industry. And though that was the bigger production house, so we saw many brand shoes getting made, and we learned the internal things also, what goes into making for those brands, like what is negotiated, how those things are done, what is the price point, right? So then he said, okay, don't want to get into detail, but then he said, no, that is not what we want to do. So let's do something we can vouch for even after 5 years, 10 years.
Are there mainstream leathers that you refuse to make boots out of? So it's available and you just, I don't want to do it.
I mean, so far we have not. I mean, like I said, we started with some limited leathers, but then we have started getting these leathers based on feedback from our clients. So we were sending it to some clients. I mean, Chris knows I have been open with my client. I like talking, and then when they share any feedback, I'm open for it. So someone came to us that, do you have Chromex? And I said, no. Would you get it? I said, like, no, what is that leather? And then when we researched, there was something different. It was way costly versus what we were getting, but there was something, okay, let's experiment. We bought, Pradeep saw, and like I said, Pradeep is the man who, he knows the leather, he knows the manufacturing. So when he saw it, he's like, yeah, it's very good. And I mean, it's unique. So that is how Chrome XL came to us, and then Hatch Grain and Shell. I think just because in Stitch Down community we saw it, so we wanted to do something. Couple of customers came to us and like, okay, if you want to do it, we'll make it. But then we are doing it for first time, so that you should be because again, Shell is hard as compared to other things, right? So in machine making, hard to work with. So I mean, initially, I think I remember like Pradeep had to sit down with the cutter guy because it's expensive. Like other leathers, even if something goes bad, you can trash it and then you can make another pair. But then in this, you cannot afford to waste leather because if the price point we are selling at, the majority portion is the leather only. And if leather goes in waste, I mean, we are underwater.
It's such a small percentage of the animal, and it's so highly processed.
Yeah. So I mean, till now we have not, but I think initially we were open for some leathers, but I think now with the more custom offering we have been doing, I think we are trying to limit on the leathers we want to offer in our primary range. Like Chris mentioned, that we are trying to get into some ready-to-wear lines also slowly, because we don't want to make every pair and ship it, so we want to keep some inventory which we can ship immediately, right? So. Maybe in future, we will continue to have the custom segment in our offering. Because like I said, I've always said that if you can make something and if you want to have something and if you are open for experiments, we are open to. Right. So we will have custom offering, and then as part of that, we might introduce some limited edition, some leathers. But yeah, the main line, we are trying to just limit it because with every leather, like procurement, buying, importing, that takes time. Like recently, I know, like a couple of guys, I was having a hard discussion, like Hatch Grain was delayed from our order, right? So, and again, our website, we don't have, again, it comes down to technology, right? So in website, you can buy Hatch Grain, but then in the workshop, if you don't have Hatch Grain, we have to wait for it, right? So there was order already in work, but then that kept on delaying for something or other. So it went and all the shoes were made and then all the patches were shipped yesterday. But that is another challenge. The more leather you have, it complicates your environment also, right? You are working with 10 different suppliers and then maintaining those supply chain and all that stuff custom, and every country has different things. So we want to limit what we're offering. So we were trying to go to the best one in that segment. So that is where we went to Harveen for the boot and Mariam, and then Zonta for the dress. So Zonta, we have seen that, I mean, it was up in the dress shoe game. So that is where we decided to go with them. It's like, we will have less margin, but we'll work with the best leathers.
Do you, pronounced arches, have you built boots like that? And how willing are you to do that for customers?
I mean, I say that we when we started Blackbird, we did not start it for business, right? So to making it $1 billion. We started for the love, like for the liking of our shoes. And if someone who likes the work or appreciate the craft and he's open to experiment, we are open to. So we have made many flat, barefoot shoes and barefoot boots also. We have not listed them in our website because again, I feel that we did not want to clutter the website, but sometimes people have like they wanted a flat boot, the barefoot boot, which is like different with flat. So we have done those. With ARC support, we have done few. But like I said, we have not done this historically. So this we would be doing like something. If you come to me with some new requirement, like we are like a R&D department. Like they will do stuff, but you have to see that they are also doing it for the first time. They might have experience or saw it or they would see somewhere, but they would also be doing it for the first time. So first product might not be the top on the expectations, but Like many times we have sent a sample. Like some people said, oh, I want to get this shoe, but with this customization in Mariam, this and that. See, only thing what could go wrong with us is sizing, like remote sizing. So if your sizing is off, so we tell them if you are open, we could send you a trial pair. I mean, that will cost something. So that additional cost you have to understand. I mean, so what we do, we will make the modification and do that in the our local leather will and not weld. I mean, plain cemented construction. We'll send you a trial pair. Once we get your feedback, then we'll make the final pair and we'll send it to you. So I mean,
I assume you have a
yeah.
I assume you have a fit sheet.
What is it?
Fit sheet. How do you go about measuring people to make sure that you're getting the right size boots for them?
Yeah, so we have put a blog also on our website that details you what measures to take. So that helps us take some of the basic measures with all those measurements. You could, I mean, because we are doing it remote, so you could, I mean, get help someone in house and then do those measurements. And then once you tell the experience with other shoes you have worn in past, that also gives us a sense that what problem you might have, right? Like if you tell me that you are wearing Thursday boot 8.5, I immediately know that 9 is the size on us because they run half size more. If you tell me on BiB you wear 8 on this last, right? So I immediately know 9. If you tell me that, okay, that last, your fingertip toes have less volume, I know that's a sleek. So a newer last we have that might help. So yeah, so there is a newer last we have been working with the wider toe. We call it Rover. And actually, Chris has helped with that name. So that is again, we have still officially not launched the collection on that. And this again goes back to the same principle that it's been in work for more than a year, but we felt that when we feel 100% comfortable, then we'll come live with that. So the 2 new lasts are coming. One on the dress, this white toe, and then there's a round toe last we are coming for dress shoes also. So that is also in the final state. We are expecting both to launch before October. But yeah, let's see.
Will you build a customer a specific last for them?
Yeah, a couple of times we have.
Or is it more taking the last and using like Bondo and leather to make adjustments?
Yeah, so with the measurements we get, sometimes, like again, if customer is willing to pay for the custom last, it's not much, but there's an additional cost and time involved. We have done it. So that is where I mentioned the trial, right? So when these custom thing comes up, like we have made a custom last also for them, and then did a custom, then made a trial pair on that last and sent it to them. And then if they had any feedback, most of the time, like I would say 80% of the time on the first go it has worked. And again, I think client also don't expect 100% bespoke experience with that because they're not paying bespoke money also on this, right? So like you, if you have FF width, I mean, it's difficult to get their size in market, right? And if you are able to come even 80% close to it, I think you will be satisfied. I mean, that's what I will. I think you'll be fine with that 80%. And with the next pair, next feedback, somewhere we'll have 90 or something. I mean, 100% is very difficult to get on in the remote sizing. Right. Maybe someone local, we could do all those measurements and do all that stuff. But yeah, that will take more time, money. But yeah, I think we do custom last, and I feel that we have been able to reach 70 to 80% close to the fittings.
How many construction types do you offer? You said you do some Goodyear for white label, but not for yours.
No. So
Belgian, Norwegian, flat, stitched down, Stormwell.
Yeah, so Wellstone is sort of like stitched down, so that we do for our service boots like Rudiger and Luchador. And then hand welted is hand welted and storm weld we do for our Dixon. Then we do Norwegian. Our dress shoes is mainly on the hand welting, pure like plain hand welting. We don't do Goodyear. I mean, Goodyear is technically hand welted, but through the machine, so we don't have machine, so we don't make Goodyear. And then there's like Blake stitching, with just the cemented stitch, but just the stole is stitched directly to the upper. So that we do for our partner levels. So our partner levels, we only do the Blake stitching. And for some of the loafers, we do Blake stitching because for some of the loafers, sole has to be thinner. So doing a hand belting is not preferable. So for some of the loafers, we do Blake.
What filler do you use, leather or cork?
Cork.
Have you ever done a braided welt?
No. Braided welt.
It's a weird one-off type. It's rare. So when you're when you do when you bring the welt stitch over,
yeah,
you pause and you've got two other pieces of string that you run through that hole, and then you bring it down and bring it back up, and then those two go back across again. So the two extra threads don't actually ever go through. They're just ornamental that are weaving through. It creates a look.
I mean, yeah, not heard for braided. Maybe I'll just check out. Maybe we might have done it, or maybe called something else in India. But yeah, I'll say. Well, like I said, many experiments we do also, but if we feel that it's not for the masses, we don't introduce on our website because we don't want. I mean, there are many people like who want particular thing, but if there's not enough market for that, I mean, it's difficult to offer, right? I mean, there's not enough market.
It's like you said, it clutters the website. And there just has to be a lot of off menu stuff that the geeks are aware of to know to ask for.
Yeah.
Toe caps. Are your toe caps like a complete extra piece of leather on top of the vamp so that it's twice as much leather in the toe area, or is it more a decorative stitch?
No, it's stitched on. I mean, sometimes people have asked, so we have done it, but we feel that it's very hard and then it bites in longer run. So we don't do the double layer one.
I imagine because you're mostly dress shoes and
because
that would make the dress shoe bulky.
Yeah, what happens is like suddenly this layer becomes twice and this layer relaxes. So once you start wearing, this will be relaxed, but this is still tight. So it will start biting so we don't do. A couple of folks have asked, so we have done it, but not in our standard offering.
Is there an official name for hidden eyelets? I see that you do a lot of hidden eyelets, but I don't know if there's a term for it beyond that. Is there a term?
I think they just call it hidden eyelets, like these, right?
Yeah.
I think hidden eyelets, yeah.
I just never thought to ask the question before. I always call them hidden eyelets, but maybe I'm missing out on a word that should be in my vocabulary.
No, I think it's hidden eyelet because most of our boots have these brass eyelets with some of the hooks. Sometimes folks claim that they want hidden eyelets on the boot because they wanted to wear that with a dress or maybe suit or something. So yeah, those are like hidden eyelets. Yeah, and that's what.
I see 8 different lasts listed. Are there more lasts that you don't list?
Yes. I mean, these are our standard lasts, which we offer, right? So like I said, the Rover, the new boot last is in work. That should launch before October. We had made one custom last for engineer boots, right? So, I mean, we haven't got to that point to experiment more with engineer boots. We have like enough work and style to do on site. Yeah, so there was one last for that. And many times, like while experimenting, we do some custom last, but if something doesn't come out well, we just keep it parked. But suddenly someone comes that, oh, I want like this, that. So we know that, okay, something is there we can reuse. So, but yeah, these are primarily our major last. There's one coming up for dress also, the classic round toe dress shoe. and maybe we might have some chuka also on that. So that these two last are in work for more than a year. They should launch very soon.
Who makes your midsoles? Where do you source the midsoles from? Is that Brazil?
No, these are Italian midsole.
Okay, here's for the somewhat controversial question that's probably going to make me look stupid or make me look bad. But we kind of have the stereotype that the cow is sacred, but we've been talking about a whole lot of leather boots for export and inside of India. How much of the people, I mean, is that kind of like an old thing that isn't really as concerning to people, that is kind of a religious thing that's kind of fallen away, or what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there is, like in India, there's a religious sentiments attached with cow, right? So, I mean, that is another reason why we don't have cow leathers tanned in India, or maybe available in India, right? I think few tanneries does tanning, but I think they import the leathers from other countries, and they just do the tanning and then supply to production houses, right? So that is another reason why India is mainly into buffalo leather, like buffalo leathers are more on goat leathers and those leathers. But yeah, with cow, there's a limited availability in India. So that is why we have to import most of the hides, because the kind of shoes we are making, it's difficult to, I mean, we cannot make that with buffalo leathers, right? So, yeah.
Right.
Is there kind of any stigma against owning bovine products?
People wear it. I mean, it's not. Some people do follow. Like a client was with me. I mean, I think a couple of weeks back, he was trying different leathers, discussing different leathers, but he was like, eventually he said that he had some sentiments attached with cows, so that is why he don't want to buy anything cow leather. So that is where I offered him, like, we had some other, this horse one from Mariam, and then I said, buffalo we don't work with, so then we don't have that option. But yeah.
And I guess to an extent, it might be that people don't have a problem with using cow as much as others perceiving them as using cow. So they could buy a cow and then just not tell anybody that it's cow. Oh yeah, no, that's buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, while wearing, I have not seen many issues. Like people are fine, but yeah, once or twice you come by people who don't want to, so then
you have some options for people like that.
Yeah.
Well, for the buffalo, it is viewed differently, even though they're both bovine. One is more sacred than the other.
No, I mean, and see, in India, again, I don't want to get into the mythology. Right. Cow is attached to a religion, right? So,
thank you. I knew it was a dangerous subject, but yeah, I had to ask someone who knew.
And I know. Like I said, it's in I would say it's a sensitive topic, so I don't want to get too deep in.
Thank you. Moving on.
So one of the things that you have on our topic points is that, what were some of the challenges you faced, starting a business and making shoes in the house? I know you've recently moved to a new facility, so I know there are probably challenges with that.
I mean, I think we being coming from no business background, right? So, like I said, we both are computer engineers, not even a business degree, right? So we technically have zero business experience, right? So our dad was in Indian Air Force. Our grandfather was a farmer in one of the small village. So I think that is where the challenges come, right? You want to do something, but then every stage you get stuck with something, and then you learn and then move on. So I think every stage has been new for us. It's been a good learning. We have kept on learning. I think the decision we made first day to start a business or start a website or start a brand was totally not taken well by different people. They were like, "Oh, you are a computer engineer. Your company is sending you Switzerland, and then you are going in this small city for making shoe." I mean, it's mainly from our brother, but then so from that time making and then renting a small space with hiring people, working with people. I think we have learned dealing with craftsmen, getting how to get maximum out of them, and then how to keep them motivated, and then machinery, leather, international market is different. Managing clients is different, right? I think once we started getting global, I mean, that was another challenge, right? Every market is different. Every market audience is different. Their expectations are different. Like somebody might be open for some things, it's a big thing. So I think, I mean, and training, right? So learning and training, we have been continuously experimenting, right? So the main challenge has been to scale up fast. I think people like our work, they like our work, but then we have not been able to catch up with the speed. Or so that is why we don't do any marketing also. Like today, you don't see any ads or any, even our Instagram handles are like plain with not much activity going on day-to-day basis. Most of these clients are like repeat or through word of mouth and then friends of friends and other things, right? So with hand melting, the main problem is training because everything is done through hand, scale very fast. For scaling, you have to train people, get them to work. When they are at a certain level, then only they can make stuff for you, right? So training takes time, scaling takes time. I think we have moved to a bigger facility, but then getting more and more people trained, set up those operational things. But like operational is big headache, right? So, and if you are coming from no background, like managing brand versus managing operations and efficiently, right? I mean, managing it efficiently is also so that is where I think a couple of our other brands for whom we are making the shoe helps, because sometimes if our thing is low, at least that keeps the shop running, that volumes, because for us, like we are not just white labeling, we are making it, right? Our brand is making it. We have a bigger setup, so there's an operational cost. We have to so we have to have a certain volume to make it running. Like the bigger facility, suddenly we move to a bigger facility, right? With bigger facility comes a bigger rent, bigger electricity, bigger everything, right? So some inefficient you have to fix. But these are some of the challenges have come, and then moving on.
It's learning. The only way to grow is to either outsource things or to become more automated, which loses your niche, or hiring more people.
So that is,
and you're up to 40, so that's
because we did not want it to outsource, like because we had folks approaching to us that they can make for us or they can do this for us. But one thing we felt that we when we sign off on our quality, we know that everything has gone well because we are doing it end to end. If we outsource certain part, we don't know what has gone to it, right? So that is another reason why we have not outsourced it. I mean, that is why we are trying to train more and more people. More younger people are getting into this welted water making, and they are learning things. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue. But after a certain level, it's very difficult to scale hand welted, right? So we'll have to bring machine in at some point of time, sooner or later, if you want to scale. So machines will come at some point of time. It's just like when is the right time and when is the right market for that.
And what machines?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lessen your product speed.
Yes. And when machine comes, then again, it's volume, right? So you need certain volume to run those machines. Otherwise, you start making loss. These are expensive machines, expensive setup, right? So you have to be at a certain level before you start producing hand machine, like through machines. And then again, I mean, In future, we might be able to continue our standard range through machines and then still offer hand welted for custom experience and some of those other premium line. So that, let's see how it goes.
I think you said that you're at about 3 weeks for a normal, typical build right now. Is that?
Yes, 2 to 3 weeks is what we target. We target 2 to 3 weeks. And
what about the more complicated builds, the more involved?
It comes down to customizations, like what, because if you buy a stock pair of Dixon on our website, this pair, if you buy now, even if you don't have, this will be made in 3 weeks and shipped to you. Only constraint is leather. If leather or sole is not with us for some reason, like, and again, this is one other thing we learned, right? Inventory management, right? Suddenly we have Vibrams, but 10 is out of stock because we don't have automated systems to maintain that, right? So suddenly we have order in. So these things could delay, but if we have material, it ships within 2 to 3 weeks. And then customs, it based on customizations. Like if you're asking just a change in the pattern, that okay, change in a different sole, I mean, at the same time. But if you ask me that, okay, you need double E on this, and if you don't have the last, we make the double E last on that. So we wait for the last and then we make it. And whenever a new last comes, we do an internal trial just to see if aesthetics and everything is right. Then an actual pair is made. So that adds up to the time. So yeah, many a times it's just not making the last itself, but after making a last, we make a trial pair also to see if aesthetics and everything is at par or if it needs correction. So these things sometimes takes time, and sometimes it's difficult to tell. Like if you ask me, so sometimes it's difficult to tell that it will take 5 weeks or 9 weeks because it comes down to how the iterations happen, right? Like one last came and we did some trials and we felt that maybe this area is not looking good. Then this last will go back to the factory and then factory will fix it, and then so the time could change the time. So I would say standard pair is well within 3 weeks. But anything custom, based on the customization, it might take an extra time.
Perfect answer, I expected. People who want the more involved stuff know that it takes more.
Yeah, they need to understand that.
I don't find that they're upset about how long it takes so much as they want kind of an accurate idea when they get started. What to expect.
And many times, like I said, even we are doing something for first time, right? Like if we are doing something for first time, so we can give you a couple of times people have said that, give the long time and then under commit, but
over deliver.
Yeah, under deliver, but somehow we try to expedite the things because I know some of the makers custom things takes time. Like our internal SLA 3 weeks, and I try to do that. I mean, any other place, I think hand welted, fresh pair, I don't think it will be there before 2-3 months. Right? Other than India also, again, I'm not saying, but any known makers, because they have line, right? And like I said, hand welting, right? Only. So 3 weeks is what our internal target. I am trying to be consistent with. But yeah, sometimes.
How much time do you spend with the customer when they're placing their order? Is it usually you that's talking to them, or would that be somebody else? Like if they're placing an order and they had a whole bunch of uncommon details that they wanted to spec.
I can speak from personal experience. Sandeep spends as much time as the customer needs to get the order right. Sandeep and I think we went back and forth on my first pair for about a month. Me just asking a lot of questions. Is this possible? Is this possible? And quite honestly, he just showed me a boot they tried. Did it as made one of, and it's like, here's an example. I'm like, oh, I love that. I want that one right there. So we threw out everything that we had been discussing for the prior month. Now we've circled back around, and I've ordered something that's similar. But I mean, we went back and forth, I think, for another month or so, mostly on my indecision, and asking what was possible.
Yeah, and I think
mostly email or WhatsApp, or how is
So me and my brother basically take care of communication at this point. We have a couple of folks getting trained, but initial focus mainly was on the craftsman and getting that team built. Because again, the volume is less, right? So, and again, with hiring a team, full-time team also a challenge. Like we are 24/7. We ship to like all places. We have shipped to like 75 plus countries. So customer could come anytime. So we cannot commit that next minute response. So me and Pradeep trying to fill it. And another reason is our audience is different, right? When we are in India, like somebody new who is coming to us, he's coming with very less today. Leather shoe, maximum is maybe I want rubber sole and other color. But international, when somebody is coming from US, he might have like Chris mentioned, like almost for a month we were talking. Like once you know the details, you might have many answers. And maybe on the way we also learn many things, right? So I don't want to expose an untrained guy in front of you or Chris so that if he doesn't understand what we can do and what we cannot do, right? So then that becomes difficult. So that is why it's been overstressed for me and Pradeep, but I think because of this, we have been continuing to do, because once we are talking to our clients, we also learn in the process. And, but yeah, with scaling that, our team needs to be there. So a couple of people are getting trained, and soon we'll have a team responding to them. And the other reason, like, I like talking to people. Like, I mean, if somebody wants to talk to me on boot and shoes, I mean, like, if I have time, I like talking. So,
is it mostly email or Instagram Messenger or Facebook Messenger or phone calls?
So on our website, we have chat application. You can message there. Then our WhatsApp number is also there. And I'm based out of US, so you can message me directly also on the same number. And then we have Instagram, so Instagram, and then we have email also. I think email is the slowest response at this point, because, with other apps, while sitting here, I could just open my mobile and browse. But for mail, you have to have a dedicated time to open mail and go through and then with mail, there might be like 100 of other mails in that mailbox for that distraction. So mails have been a little slow for us, but others can. But yeah, slowly we are fixing this also. So we are using a tool to centralize all this communication. So that will help with the communication also. But yeah, quick WhatsApp message or Instagram are the better routes.
Awesome.
Yep. So the answer is you've got multiple channels of communication to manage right now.
I just, people who want to place an order but haven't yet, I think it's important to know how a builder prefers to communicate.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to some and they're like, I hate talking on the phone, and, please send me an email. And I'll talk to others and they'll be like, yeah, somehow the emails sometimes get lost, and we really prefer to talk to people on the phone.
Yeah. I mean,
and Messenger is listed as preferences as well. So I think everybody has different preferences. So I wanted to know what your preference was.
Yeah. Our preference is also like WhatsApp message or Messenger, because many times, unless you are coming up with total customs, you might have 2 or 3 points to add, right? So just to get into a call for those points might be an over. So I feel like whenever somebody asks me that, can we talk? I'm like, okay, can you list down your questions? And if I can immediately answer, you are good, that's fine. But if we still have to get into a call, then we might have to find a time which works for both of us. Message, you could reply anywhere. Like you could reply waiting in train or watering the garden or doing any stuff. But if you have to get into call, then you have to, like with Chris, couple of times we had to get into call, and then we had to struggle 3-4 days, and then we got time like 10 p.m. in the night, and we chatted for an hour. So for a call, you need to schedule time. But for messages, I mean, like if you just want to check that, okay, can we do this size, or can you do this last, or can you do this? Some simple requests, you can just message, and then they'll tell you, and then they could just create out of there then and there.
Messages are my personal favorite.
Yeah.
I feel like it can transmit the most information while taking the least amount of time for everybody.
Yeah.
And usually you can see whether somebody has seen the message or not.
Yes.
And I find that helpful as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I know. Of course,
I think I asked everything.
I was going to say, as you grow, there's one thing that Sandeep and I have talked about over the past year, and there's different ideas I've thrown out to grow the business, and he's been pushed back, and it's like we're not ready for that yet. There's. I think you didn't come to this. You came to Stitch Down Boot Camp last year, but you were as an attendee, not a vendor. Because you didn't feel that you were at a place to start doing that kind of stuff. But I know you went to the London, the London Trunk Show. And
so good.
You're planning on going to the Stitch Down Boot Camp this year, so you've been able to work some things out and get to where you're comfortable now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that we feel that it's fine being late, but when we go, we need to be prepared, right? So last year, we were invited for Stitch Down, but we felt that we were not at that level. So I was there to look around and see how things happens and how is everything. But yeah, this year London Super Trunk was very good. Feedback was very good. I saw some 6, 7, 8 people wearing Blackbird shoes, which was like very surprising for me. I mean, if it happens in US, I would expect many people wearing or supporting, but London was something new. But yeah, we had very good feedback also. I mean, like a couple of bespoke shoemakers stopped by our booth and they looked at our products, appreciated. So that was like a real approval for us. That okay, and that is what I was trying to achieve with Super Trunk. I mean, like European market is like difficult with all those import taxes, customs, and everything. But I feel like I wanted to be there to show our to everyone and see where we stand. Right. So I think that was successful. We got to feel that we are at the right direction, and what we have been able to do is, I think, right. So now going back with Stitch Down, I think this year's Stitch Down, we'll be there. We haven't fully started working for it, but yeah, we want to. Many people have asked that, why don't you come? So yeah, here we are coming, and then if you want to see our products and different things, we'll be there with all that sizing check and everything.
Yo.
And yeah, Super Trunk happening in New York also one weekend before, so we'll be there also with all our dress collection.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love what I'm seeing. I love all the stuff that you're willing and able to do. I'm seeing mock toes. I think I saw a split toe.
Yeah.
I'm seeing hidden eyelets. I'm seeing many kinds of hardware, different colors of hardware. Yeah. Old cut, Baroque.
Yeah, and we have something called like seamless, but also like this. So where there's no stitch, it's made from one piece of leather altogether.
Beautiful. Fiddle back.
Yeah, a slight fiddle back. It's not pretty much clean, but I feel like at this price point, it's much better. We can do cleaner fiddleback also, but yeah, that comes with price. So
that you just told me what would be the US price on something like that?
So any other, so this is like Zonta brown box cap. I mean, any other shoe on this with similar characters like around $300, like less than 300 or something. But seamless would be 400 or little around that.
Yeah, that's still a crazy deal for a shoe that looks like that.
Yeah. A shoe with this leather and construction, I feel like, there's not in the market.
No. Definitely not. I know you've got some other boots and shoes there. Why don't you go ahead and kind of do a little show?
I mean, I picked up, so this is our Dixon, our flagship, the first boot we had made even before Stitch Down. So this is that standard cap toe, storm belted with bourbon, lug sole. So yeah, so this is around little less than $300, right? So this is a Chrome XL, Harvin Chrome XL, and I have other one.
Great.
This is like Boulevard, my other favorite, the hiking boot. This is our domestic sole. I think this is our standard range. This is not Chrome XL, but yeah, this is our standard range. This is around, I think, $160 or $170. So our standard
It's a
range.
really nice design. Did you design that one?
No. My brother. He's the man. Like I said, he sits with the team and all the R&D happens with him. Sometimes I ask him, can we do this or do this, but eventually he sits with the team and then come up with all that stuff. So yeah, so this is like, we call it hiker boot, bulwark.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, these two are
Nice cut on the angle and padded collar and lots of cool stuff there.
Yeah, standard Chelsea and others. On the dress, I had this one handy. Like this is on the Harvey match grade loafer, brass tap toe and something. Like this is like with the recent changes after COVID, people are moving more towards such grained leathers and with textures, right? So I think this is one of our best sellers.
Beautiful shoe.
That stuff is.
And this seamless hole cut, I feel like this is something unique.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because this is made from piece of leather. Not many bespoke shoemakers also do. And then who does it? I think it costs like $1,000 or $1,500 plus.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to accomplish.
Yeah, because leather has to be stretched evenly to all the sides so that it doesn't breaks and doesn't stretch and doesn't break. Grains does not get loose, because even after making it, sometimes while lasting, sometimes grain breaks. So we have to remake these pairs. So before, even for this pair, we were marking like 3 weeks, but then 3 out of 7 pairs damages while construction itself, or grain breaks and something. So we have to redo the shoe again. So that is why the price for this shoe is more, and it takes little more time, and it has to be in the last for more time as compared to other shoes, so that grain settles and all that.
Yeah,
they get the shape, because if you see the shape also, it's clean and it doesn't look like it's made from one piece of leather.
Very nice.
Cool art. What are there any fads that you're noticing that are coming up on the horizon, or things that you think are becoming more common or less common?
I think plain colors are fading out. People buy plain only for like marriages and others, and some of the museum cuffs are doing very good. I don't know if I have museum colors handy, but people are moving more towards like multicolors or textured or grained on the shoe area, on the boots also. I think, like, because I think places have become casual. So
I'm seeing more marbled leathers as well.
Exactly.
That does seem to be a fad.
Yeah, so that is how the museum cuff looks like sort of like marble finish. So more people are trying that marble finish on the shoe. So that is, people are liking it more and more as compared to the plain colors.
Yeah, and you
Green still in, or green heading out?
Yeah.
Well, you've got some different offerings too that are a little bit more on the grain side. I think you've got some of the waxy commanders, the Horreen hatch grain, of course the standard Chrome XL. You do have a wax mohawk in the teak.
Yeah.
And then the Boventura Scotch green.
Yeah, Boventura is nice. Yeah. So this is Boventura plain, but yeah, there's a Boventura hatch grain also. That also has very nice character, especially for boots or derbies. That's a very soft and strong leather.
I'm gonna have to get some made from that. It's very nice. So is there anything else in Indian shoemaking, and maybe even the latest changes that we haven't talked about yet?
I think it's picking up. When we had started, like I said, there was no one in the market with the same quality and constructions. I think Breadland also started at the same time. They were production houses, but then they also came with Breadland, and they I think at the same time or a little earlier before. A couple of other brands are coming up. I think it just need, like I said, it's a market, right? So once people are realizing that there is a market for this, right? So more and more people are coming to it, and I think it's good for Indian shoemaking industry as a whole that it's coming to attention, and that is what I want to do also. Like before, when people say, "Oh, shoemaking in India," they had some different thing, but I think I want to show them how the shoe looks like and how they are made. I mean, that is where this Nick, I don't know if you know Nick from the Stridewise. He was in Indonesia for something, and then we were chatting, and I invited him to India. That, many a times people ask, like, how do you make it? If those practices are good, bad, why don't you come to India and see how we do it? So he had come to our workshop. He had shot also. So I think some of those videos might come in near future. I think editing is still pending. And then this Indian shoemaking video also came that he wanted to show something. We wanted to do like shoot a different video. Like just having Blackbird would not make sense, right? So I know the folks from Redland, and then others was like, if we want to show India as a whole, we need to have different key players from their niche in that video, right? So we invited a couple of more folks into that video. So I don't know when that video will come, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I think Indian industry is changing. More and more players are coming, and it's good. It's good for overall Indian shoemaking and Indian shoes as a brand as a whole, right? To change that perception.
Love it.
Love it. I think, Jeff and I both just really appreciate when we find people that like, they focus on passion, the craftsmanship, that have the passion that would put out a quality product. It doesn't matter where in the world they're from. It's that shared, drive and desire to produce a really great product that, we love and want to support.
And yeah, some of these things are like made the very old way and getting lost skill, I would say. I mean,
yes.
Right? You would say that if you leave Blackbird or a couple of Indian shoemakers, and when you see hand welted, it's $1,000.
Oh yeah.
I would say after 5 years that will also die down, because how many people are spending $1,000? Right? So you would have seen that last year many small shoemakers have shut down their shop, right? Many in Europe and some other smaller markets. There's not enough for market. Like hand welting takes time, takes everything, right? So there's a dying down. So we wanted to show also like how things are made. I mean, recently I put a reel also to show how the welting team does the work. I mean, it could feel raw that people are sitting on the floor and doing that, but that is how they have been doing this stuff. I mean, that is how they have learned this stuff, right? They have been doing this from like 50 years. We came 3-4 years. We cannot change their habit. Like, similarly, I cannot give bench and 5-star seat and okay, work on this. They cannot work. They say that, let me do how I want to do. So they have the freedom how they want to do. If they tell they need this bench, this is how it should be. So that is how it works. So yeah, some of these things, process, skills are like age old. So that is how they have been doing it. And some of the, I would say, new generation or other people who have seen machine-made shoes, right? I mean, machine-made shoes or videos on the YouTube or other. So those are like Goodyear looks different, but there's not enough craftsmanship in that, right? I mean, if you want to see the craftsmanship, go to the bespoke shoemakers who make it. I mean, like I said, met a couple of them in London. They take like 100 hours to make one shoe, and they charge like 4,000 euros for one shoe with bespoke fitting trial and everything. So yeah, things time, and they have their own way to do it. So, and that is what I wanted to show Nick to the outside world. And when that video will come, you will see that nothing is staged. I have tried to keep the workshop as natural as it is on any given day. Like even if you go tomorrow, you are in Delhi, you tell Sandeep, I want to visit your factory tomorrow. You go, you will see the same thing like we have in video. Same clothes.
Can't wait to see it.
Oh, you just moved into that factory too, right? Like a week or something, or the week before he came, or was it the week he came that you moved into it?
Yeah, so we were in the middle of it. Actually, that was getting delayed. The plan was that that factory was ready for 4 months. The electricity connection was taking time. So, for a bigger factory, we have to have a dedicated transformer for that electricity. That was taking time. So, we were like halfway through. We had moved some of the stuff here, some of the stuff here. And when Nick was there, we were like, not here, not there. It was like, we cannot do like this. So we moved into a new factory. We got in generator for 10 days. And that pressured the folks also, because many people were, oh yeah, we are doing it. I said, no, bring in the generator and let the owner also know that we are bringing generator, so they have to put pressure and everything. So when we bring in the generator, like within 10 days, it was all sorted and we got the connection. So yeah, we were through that process, but that was taking time. But yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, I'm most impressed with boots coming from your region.
Yeah.
You guys and a lot of those Indonesian builders are doing it more the old way and the right way with all of the possible choices than anybody else. And outside of some of the high-priced bespokes.
Yeah.
And this is turning out like 30 boots a year.
Exactly. And this is, I would say, like, if you ask me what Blackbird has done or it was new, I mean, like, see, hand-welted shoes people were still making in India in smaller batches or smaller, but boot were never in the limelight. Nobody knew Chrome XL in India. Nobody, I mean, maybe few who traveled or who were more enthusiastic, but now people are getting to know more and more. Now, our Indian clients are talking about construction, leathers, so right? So that is something, I think, awareness or community we have been able to build. And obviously, like, West have helped us a lot, and then we are here because of them, I would say. And that is why we are working to, I mean, because the website is also Indian based, so it's not customer experience, everything is not optimized. Now you are looking at our website, prices are in INR and so many other things. So we are in works to create a separate website for US so that US clients would have a streamlined experience and everything. And I'm here in Boston, so I'm here locally if anything happens, if any issues or anything, right?
So I was going to say, so the kind of a wrap up, the big things that we have coming with for Blackbird later this year is you're going to be doing a ready-to-wear line, so that people won't have to wait. They can order a boot and have it shipped to them very quickly. You do have a couple of new lasts that are coming that a little bit more developed, I think, for at least the boot for more of the American foot, that it tends to be a little wider than some of the European and probably Indian feet. And then I know you've got some other things that you're working on the back end to improve the customer experience and to kind of wrangle all those communication channels that you are working with right now. So
and those two trunk shows, like Stitch Down Boot Camp and so if anybody wants to see our work in real, I mean, that is the place to be in, so that you could see our work in real. And again, yeah, we are at a stage in the business or the life cycle where it will take some time to change, right? To go to the next level.
Yep.
So I think, yeah, it might
if I make it, I'll certainly look forward to seeing you. You'll be high on my list of people to
Thank you.
say hi to.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll be there. We'll see you there.
Yeah. When are the dates of the trunk show? That's in New York also, right?
It's 1 week before.
Okay, before the Stitch Down Boot Camp.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know the Stitch Down Boot Camp, little plug here, is October 12th and 13th in Brooklyn in Industrial City. And I know the general admission tickets are free. So if you're in the area or take a train, not too far away, go and visit there's a website, I think it's stitchdownbootcamp.com, that you can see who all is going to be there so far.
You could walk it, and this is two days event, Saturday and Sunday. Both days we'll all be there all day. So the super trunk is the 1 week before. That is 1 day, and that is a free entry. So anybody who has interest on more dress shoes and those, they are welcome to see us there. Also, there are many other vendors are also coming. But yeah, that's focused mainly.
Train right away.
Yeah,
up on the Acela.
Thank you.
Besides wrapping up the whole episode, I guess it's the only thing I got to add is a very awesome quote that I heard from Sandeep. If I can make it, why not? Love it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It says so much in so few words. I love it. It's a great quote.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, that is, I feel like if we have our own manufacturing, all the construction house, I mean, if you are ready to experiment with us and do what it takes, I mean, we can do it. I mean, may not be on the first attempt, but second attempt. So, yeah. I mean, many things are simple, straightforward, but sometimes it does take time. And then, especially in your case, if you have FF size, so if you want to do some custom style in FF size, I mean, we might have to do, I think a couple of iterations to get that perfect. But yeah, as far as you are ready and somebody is ready to spend that time and have patience with us, we are there.
It's on my list.
Thank you.
The world has become more casual, and I find less and less reasons for needing a quality dress shoe, but I do need a pair. Even if it's just for weddings and funerals, I do need a good pair.
Sure. All right. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
All right. So thanks a lot for being with us. Really appreciated it. Hope you enjoyed it as well. And again, like, comment, and subscribe, and please make comments. We're always listening.
Thank you.
Lansha?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be with you if anybody have any questions in your comments. So yeah.
Great. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.